Hi, this is Tarunpreet. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to review my all-time favorite movie, You've Got Mail, today. It's a 90s Nora Ephron classic where the main characters are played by Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Tom Hanks plays Joe Fox and Meg Ryan plays Kathleen Kelly. Both of them are business rivals in real life and then they fall in love through emails. And they don't know who they're talking to. Something about this review, I am not a professional film critic and I don't know the technicalities of movie. I'm just a regular person who happens to be kind of passionate about movies. I like watching them. I like getting lost into a good movie for 3 hours and losing touch with the reality and what's going on around me. And this review is gonna be personal because I am obsessed with this movie. If you have watched You've Got Mail, you will like me quoting Kathleen Kelly when she says, "What is so wrong with being personal? Anyways, whatever else anything is, it ought to begin by being personal." Yeah, I'm that obsessed with this movie. I find this movie very, very comforting. It's a very happy-go-lucky kind of movie, and I cannot recount the number of times I have watched this movie. I love to watch it at the end of a hard day. I love to watch it when I am bored, and I just love to watch it in general. There is no scene in this movie that I don't love. Let's talk about the movie in detail. I love the music of the movie. I love how it's very soothing, charming, and very fall-like in the beginning, and then as the movie goes forward, it becomes very peppy in the end when Joe Fox finally decides to approach the love of his life and just go for it. I love the transition. Now, talking about the scenes from the movie, I love the opening scene where Kathleen Kelly is waiting for her boyfriend Frank to leave for work, and then she does little bunny hops and goes to the computer, and she has indeed received an email from her online friend NY152 who has written about his dog, and then she tells him how she loves receiving emails from him. Then I love her dialogue. I go online and my breath catches in my chest until I hear three little words, "You've got mail." I just love that dialogue. So Joe Fox belongs to a family who owns a chain of giant big shot bookstores, and they decide to open a bookstore right next to Kathleen Kelly's children's bookstore. Because of the location, they become business rivals. Kathleen's business is affected, and then she has to think about closing the store. Joe Fox visits her store one day with his half brother and his aunt, who is a little girl who is his grandfather's daughter. Yeah, so he visits that children's bookstore, Kathleen Kelly's store, with them, and then he has a conversation with Kathleen. But when she asks him his name, he does not tell his full name because of his impression and his business, and he knows his business is affecting her, and so he does not tell his full name. They find each other charming when they first meet. Then the movie goes forward and they become business rivals, and whenever they encounter each other, Joe Fox, I think, becomes too defensive and he says some mean things. She is always at a loss of words. She is a very cute person who has trouble saying mean things or answering back to people, and she discusses this problem with her online friend NY152, who gives her advice. Uh, he gives her advice on everything, on these things also, and then later on about her business also. Till this point, they don't know each other in real life. Then they decide to meet one day. She reaches the cafe first. She's sitting, she's waiting for him. He comes, he looks through the window and sees that it's Kathleen Kelly, who he knows hates his guts. he decides not to go and tell her his identity and everything. He's also kind of surprised and in kind of a shock because he likes his online friend too much. And then it turns out to be Kathleen Kelly, who he finds attractive looks wise, but he knows they do not have a good relationship. He decides to go. She sees that her online friend has not come, and it, in his place, her business rival is there who has said some mean things to her in the past. Then he tries to give her company, but she refuses to accept it. And then, for the first time, she gathers the courage to say some mean things to him, which she regrets later on. She's so cute. Then, as time passes, her store closes and everything is happening. He breaks up with Patricia. Then Kathleen breaks up with her boyfriend Frank because they're not in love. Then Joe's father breaks up with his girlfriend, and then he's sitting with his father one day, and they're talking about love, and Joe realizes what he should do next. It's life is too short to not just go for it. If you really like someone, if you're too fond of someone, why let other things get in the way? So what I love about this scene is how there is a peppy transition. The music becomes cheerful and zesty when he decides to okay, I'm gonna approach Kathleen Kelly and I am going to make her see the real me. I'm not that bad. I'm going to try to be friends with her. Then he approaches her, he goes to her house. She is kind of shocked to see him and she's not very happy, but he insists on staying there with her for some while. They have a conversation. She sees that he's not that bad, and then they develop a friendship over time. Then they have conversations. She checks her emails, she talks to her online friend, and then she discusses everything with her new friend Joe Fox. It's kind of funny also. And then she one day gets an email to meet NY152 in the park, and the same day she's having lunch with her friend Joe Fox, where he in person decides to tell her about his feelings. I just love that scene. It just melts me. I love how he says, if I were not Joe Fox and you were not Kathleen Kelly and we were not business rivals and everything, I would have loved to ask for your number, and I would have been unable to wait for 24 hours to ask you out, to ask you for movies and lunches and coffee for as long as we both shall live. And while he's trying to have a conversation with her, he touches her shoulder and he says, how can you forgive this guy for standing you up and not forgive me for this tiny little thing of putting you out of business? And when he touches her on her shoulder and he is saying these things, she is kind of having butterflies. She's just she keeps a hand on her chest and she's like, what is happening? And that scene, it just melts me. I love that scene. Then, because she already has to meet NY152 in the park, she turns back, looks at Joe Fox, goes get dressed and goes to the park to meet NY152. And then she sees Brinkley, Then someone calls for Brinkley, and it is in fact Joe Fox. I just love that scene. I love the previous one more though, where he's actually telling about his feelings. So there is this last scene where they are in the park. She's happy to see him. She's confused also. She's crying also because she wanted it to be him. I love that scene. I love their dog, and I think it's the best movie ever made. I have not watched all the movies in the world, but the movies I have watched in my life till now, I find it the cutest of all. I have watched this movie endless number of times. I cannot recount the number of times I have watched this movie. There are two scenes in the movie which I do not find to be as happy go lucky as the rest of the movie. So sometimes I like to skip past those scenes. One is the grocery store scene where Kathleen Kelly is standing in the cash only line, and she just has a card and she does not read. Everyone around her is being unnecessarily rude to her, and then there is this other scene where Kathleen Kelly is breaking up with her boyfriend Frank. This movie is not realistic, but still that scene is too unrealistic for me. You don't love me, I don't love you. They are so happy while saying this. It's just I it's an okay kind of a scene. It's not bad, but yeah. So these were the things I had to say about this movie. If you have not watched it till now and you are like me who loves to watch or likes to watch cute comforting movies, I would suggest you watch this movie. You can buy or rent it on YouTube, or you can order a DVD or something on Amazon also. I am watching it on Netflix Canada these days. This was my first YouTube video, and if you liked me talking about a movie, if you liked the review, if you want to see more videos from me, it would mean the world to me if you could like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.